Part 111. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1101. Looking at Wang Feng's back, the Phantom looked desperate, but he had no choice. The human race's defense fortress had now activated the energy shield, and they could not enter at all. And he also knew that as long as Wang Feng entered, that after the portal is opened, this defensive fortress will also leave the layer where they are located. In this way, they can only pray that the human race can clear the endless road before they run out of energy, but the Phantom race knows this in their hearts and is absolutely impossible. Because they had to resist the sound from the human race's sound wave device that could kill them, the surviving tribesmen have almost exhausted the energy in their bodies. If the human race leaves, then they may not be able to survive for a month. I can't even hold on to the time. It would be impossible for the human race to pass through the endless tower in a month. Regarding the number of races on the original star, I am afraid that no race can be more clear than the Phantom clan. Because they are so large in number and rely exclusively on the dreams of other creatures to survive, there is a clan of phantoms in every race. Therefore, they are actually the race that is most familiar with the original star and even the entire universe. Wang Feng came to the door of the portal, paused for a moment, turned around and looked at the Phantom clan member, but did not continue to speak, turned around and prepared to enter the portal. Etc. The Phantom clan seemed to suddenly think of something and shouted quickly. Wang Feng's body paused again, but he did not look back. He just waited silently for the Phantom clan to continue speaking. All Wang Feng thought in his mind was that maybe this Phantom clan member had some last words for him. The Phantom tribe people moved directly behind Wang Feng and stopped about 3 meters away from Wang Feng. Wang Feng frowned, and then he was on full alert. As long as there was any energy fluctuation around him, he would directly rush into the portal. Human race. Don't worry. I won't drag you into the illusion anymore, because it means nothing to us now, because now the outcome has been determined. Even if we kill you, it will have no effect, and now you have already. If we are prepared, we may not be able to deceive you even if we drag you into the illusion. Sensing Wang Feng's emotions, the Phantom clan members hurriedly took a few steps back, as if they were afraid that Wang Feng would rush directly into the portal to defend themselves. If you have anything to say, say it quickly. Wang Feng didn't relax at all and said coldly. I want to say that it seems that we can cooperate. The Phantom tribe said. Bringing the remaining members of our Phantom clan, although it is a threat to you humans, is also a huge benefit, because we have the intelligence of all races on the primordial star, and besides us, there is no one on the primordial star except us. Besides the Phantom race, there are many races with soul bodies. These races are different from us. We can be considered the weakest among soul creatures, so you can easily pass through our level, but if you encounter the most powerful blood spirit race, you will not be able to pass so easily. The Blood Spirit Clan. Wang Feng finally turned around, looked at the Phantom clan and asked. Seeing Wang Feng finally reacting, a glimmer of hope appeared in the eyes of the Phantom clan members, and they nodded quickly. As long as there are living things, there is our Phantom tribe. Therefore, we have all the racial information on the original star, and we can directly see the soul body creatures. With us here, if you encounter soul body creatures again in the future, we can act as your scouts. Even if it is another race, as long as we see the creatures of that race, we can provide you with detailed information about them, including their habits, attack methods, weaknesses, etc. This can save you humans a lot of unnecessary losses. Take this time as an example. If you knew our weaknesses when you came up, then none of you humans would have to die and you would be able to pass here safely. So we are definitely useful to you humans. Hearing these words from the Phantom Spirit tribe, Wang Feng hesitated. If this was really the case, then it seemed that the Phantom Spirit tribe could really be brought along by the human race. However, Wang Feng was quite capable of them. Scruples. Wang Feng was still worried about the situation when he was pulled into the illusion before. If he took in these Phantom Clan members, it would be equivalent to the human race leaving a time bomb beside him. Wang Feng could not guarantee whether the Phantom tribe would attack the human race again after it was safe. After all, they had killed so many Phantom Spirit tribe people this time. Seeing Wang Feng's hesitant expression, the Phantom Clan member gritted his teeth and spoke again. I know you have concerns about our racial skills, but I have a way to eliminate these concerns. Tell me about it. Wang Feng said expressionlessly. We don't need you to take away all our clansmen, we only need you to take in 1,000 of our clansmen. The Phantom tribe said. Actually, we just want to know what will happen if our Phantom tribe is not destroyed after the Endless Road is opened, so as long as 1,000 people are enough, and you can directly designate an area for us, we will definitely you have the ability to detect us without getting out of there, so this is not difficult for you to do. As long as we leave our activity area, you can kill us all. We will never have any complaints. If you still don't believe us, then you can also cover that area with an energy shield, so that everything will be safe. Of course, you humans must let some people in to provide us with dream energy to ensure our survival. As long as you agree, we can even tell you all our information first, and when you meet the soul body when there are creatures, help you defeat them. After Wang Feng thought for a while, he asked directly into the communicator. Liza, what do you think? Because Wang Feng kept the communicator on, his conversation with the Phantom Clan member could also be heard by people in the defensive fortress. I think there should be no problem if there are only 1,000 phantoms. Moreover, if we can really get the information about all the primitive star creatures, the benefits to us will indeed be quite great. This risk is worth taking. Duan Lei replied without any hesitation that the Phantom Clan was not taken in before because it posed some threat to the safety of the human race. Now they are in the Endless Tower, so they don't want to take risks. Even if they don't want to exterminate the Phantom Clan, they can only maybe give them up. But now, it seems that the benefits far outweigh the risks, especially if the Phantom Clan really only needs them to take in 1,000 clan members, then a small area will be specially designated for the Phantom Clan to survive. It's not difficult, and the danger is naturally greatly reduced. At least Duan Lei feels that the Phantom Clan's proposal is worth considering. Just wait a moment. Wang Feng said to the Phantom Spirit tribe, and then returned to the defensive fortress. After half an hour, Wang Feng appeared in front of the Phantom Spirit tribe again, looked at him and said. We can bring 1,000 of your tribesmen, but we have some requirements that you must accept. You said it? The Phantom Clan members were overjoyed and nodded quickly. First, you must first give us the information on all races on the original star. This is the basis for our cooperation. Wang Feng stretched out a finger. No problem. The Phantom tribe people nodded directly. This was originally the condition he proposed. Of course he agreed directly. Seeing that the Phantom tribe agreed to this, Wang Feng was also secretly surprised. In this way, their endless road will become much simpler. At least, there will be no situation where they don't recognize people after seeing them. Immediately afterwards, Wang Feng put forward some conditions. In fact, many of them were put forward by the Phantom tribe themselves. For example, they must move within the prescribed area and will be killed if they cross the boundary. They must not secretly attach themselves to the sent people. Sneak out quietly from the human race that provides them with dream energy, and so on. The most important thing is that Wang Feng made it clear to the Phantom tribe first that they don't know whether the method they are talking about now can really take away the Phantom tribe, because they have gone through so many layers before. In the Endless Tower, I have never tried to take away creatures from any level. Therefore, Wang Feng wants the Phantom tribe to tell him all the information they have before leaving this level of the Endless Tower. If the Phantom tribe is cleared out when their defense fortress leaves, it will be different from the human race. Any relationship. To these conditions, the phantom tribesmen all agreed, so the human race stayed on this floor for a whole week. During this period of time, Wang Feng and the others first designated an area in the defensive fortress as a living area for the phantom tribe, and improved the sound wave device here, so that it could be used in an instant covering the entire base of the defensive fortress. Originally, Wang Feng wanted to use a space battleship as a living area for the phantom tribe, because if an energy shield was set up alone in the phantom tribe's living area, not only would it be very troublesome to transform, but it might also interfere with the defensive fortress. The own shield system conflicts. But later, with Chris's guarantee, they gave up installing energy shields in the phantom tribe's living area, and instead installed a lot of life detectors. Anyway, as long as the phantom tribe dared to step out, they would be able to discover that the energy shield doesn't matter much. During this period, the members of the Phantom clan also told the human race all the information they had about other races. After seeing that information, Wang Feng, Du Enlai, and others couldn't help but feel lucky. Fortunately, they met when it comes to the Phantom clan members. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1102. Looking at the portal that appeared in front of him, Wang Feng looked back at the human defense fortress, took a deep breath, and walked directly in. This is already the 999th floor of the endless tower that Wang Feng and the others have passed through. According to their experience, when they reach the 1000th floor, a very powerful race will definitely appear. After defeating the Phantom clan, with the information provided by the Phantom clan, the hundreds of floors of the endless tower in the later stages were not difficult for the human race to break into because they had detailed information about the other party in advance. Past, and there were no casualties on many levels. It has to be said that the addition of the Phantom tribe has indeed helped the human race a lot, and since the Phantom tribe was taken in by humans, they have always behaved very well. They only move in the areas divided by the human race and have never left there. Moreover, the Phantom tribe is indeed what they said. They know all the races on the original star very well. After reaching a new level, Wang Feng will be able to know as long as the reconnaissance plane teleports the creatures on this level back. The names and characteristics of this layer of races, and even their racial skills can be known. Because the Phantom tribe can enter the brains of other creatures and control their spirits, no matter what race it is, there are basically no secrets in front of the Phantom tribe. Fortunately, the Phantom tribe is neither powerful nor ambitious. Therefore, Wang Feng and the others were advantaged. However, Wang Feng and the others reciprocated the favor by regularly arranging manpower to enter the Phantom clan's area to provide them with dream energy. So far, the two sides have been in peace. After entering the 1000th floor, as before, the reconnaissance plane took off first and flew in all directions to search for traces of the enemy. However, because it was the 1000th floor, all the expeditionary force soldiers were solemnly warned. However, you must be careful this time and don't make any mistakes. And this time, the reconnaissance planes are all in groups of 2, 1 in tandem and 5 kilometers apart to prevent accidents. In this way, if the fighter plane in front is shot down in time, the one behind will at least know something about the situation. After entering the 1000th floor, Wang Feng returned to the central control room of the defensive fortress. Now, there is also a member of the Phantom clan in the central control room. Because they have cooperated for so long, and this clansman of the Phantom clan, it was the Phantom clan member who negotiated with Wang Feng before. Because he has the most contact with Wang Feng, and it was he who completed the negotiations with Wang Feng, so he is currently the leader of the Phantom clan. Since the Phantom tribe entered the human race's defensive fortress, this Phantom tribe has basically never left the central control hall, because if he wants to maintain this image that can be seen by the human race, he needs to consume a lot of energy, and also only here with Wang Feng can he get this energy. It's not that Wang Feng's constant sleep provides him with dream energy, but that instructor Li Yingning can easily provide him with the kind of dream energy he needs, because the devourer's body is originally composed of life energy, and now the instructor simply used life energy to directly create a body for the phantom, and then let the phantom live in the body. This method is similar to the Apostle John and the others created by the instructor in Atlantis, except this time the instructor did not split his consciousness. This is the racial talent of the devourer, and can only be achieved by the brood or the prince. So now this phantom tribe looks almost like a normal person, and this guy has never experienced this kind of lifestyle before. He is very excited, and he is very grateful to the human race in his heart, and he almost regards himself as a member of the human race. And according to what this phantom said, it seems that other races simply do not have the ability to create a body for them. Therefore, when Wang Feng asked Li Ying if he would rather get a body for this guy, it was a bit awkward to look at this image. At that time, the phantom smiled bitterly and shook his head. He wanted to refute Wang Feng directly, but he didn't dare, so he reacted this way. Moreover, they did not have information about the devourer's nest, because the devourer was not originally a product of the original star, but was created in the outer universe. Although there are countless phantoms in the outer universe, after the devourer was created, there was only one mother nest, and it entered the outer space directly. There was no way for the phantoms to survive in the body of the mother nest. That's why the devourer is not in the Eidolons database. Xiao. Watch carefully. Once you find the other party, immediately call out their information. After Wang Feng came to the central control hall, he said directly to the Phantom Clan member that the name Xiao was obtained by the Phantom Clan member himself. He said that according to the human race, he should be considered a fish that slipped through the net, so I gave myself such a name. Understood? I've been watching. Xiao nodded and said, because this is the main reason why he can stay in the central control hall and get a body. Although the information mastered by the Phantom tribe has been input into the computer terminal of the defense fortress, there are a total of 10,800 races in the original star, and the appearance of many races is actually very similar. Without this little fish, Wang Feng and the others would have to distinguish it carefully first, and then compare it in the database, which would be quite troublesome and a waste of time. However, this little fish almost immediately after seeing that race can retrieve information about this race. 3 days later, the reconnaissance plane still found no trace of life, but Wang Feng and the others were not in a hurry, because they had experienced nearly 1,000 floors of the Endless Tower, and now they could be said to be quite experienced. At least there is no way that when they want to deal with the Phantom Clan, they sneak into the defensive fortress without knowing it. Only when someone dies do they realize that the enemy has entered the defensive fortress. Countless life detectors are now installed on the perimeter of the defensive fortress, and because the characteristics of all races on the original star have been mastered, no matter which race they encounter, it is impossible to sneak into the defensive fortress without being caught. They found out. The life detectors outside, specially modified by Chris and the others, completely blocked the life fluctuations of the human race. In other words, the human race would not be first on those life detectors. Only the lives of other races would be close to the defense. It will only appear in the form of red dots when they are in the fortress, so they will naturally know that their guests are coming. Which race will it be this time? Because no enemies were found, Duan Lei simply pulled out the information about those powerful races in the database, looked at the information and guessed. What we encountered on the upper level were Highland barbarians. They are a powerful race, and their individual combat capabilities are quite strong. Moreover, those guys who arranged the sequence should also know that a race like this is the one we most hope to encounter. Because what we are best at is dealing with this kind of enemy. Especially this is the first time we have stacked the number of layers to 4 digits. Therefore, I think they should arrange a high-tech race for us. After all, when encountering such a race, even if we can win, we still need to. It will cost a lot and consume our energy reserves. Why can't it be a soul body race like Xiao and the others? Tang Haoshan asked with some confusion. Xiao and the others also caused a lot of casualties to us back then. Although they were all ordinary people, the criterion for our failure was that regardless of ordinary people or those with high combat effectiveness, it was only calculated based on the number. Even if I died, it would only be it can be counted as one. Won't. Duan Lei shook his head directly. Xiao and his phantom tribe were just because we had not come into contact with soul creatures like them at that time. It was not because of how powerful they were. Moreover, those guys must know our progress and also know that Xiao and the others are here with us. So this layer will not be guarded by soul creatures. As he spoke, Duan Lei pointed at Xiao. Don't forget, they can see other soul creatures. No matter how idiotic those guys are, they will not place soul creatures on the 1000th floor to let us pass easily. No need to discuss. No matter what race they are, we have to kill them anyway. In fact, I hope it is a high-tech race, preferably those damn space ghosts, NND. I can take revenge on them. Gui Wuivong said while clenching his fists. The hatred of the human race towards the cosmic ghosts is not that great. If nothing else, let's talk about the space where the brood originally appeared. This air battle will never be forgotten by them. It was the heaviest loss for the Hope Corps. You're right in the end. No matter who he is, we can just kill him. I also think it's best to be those bastards like the Space Ghost. Mars also joined the conversation. Hearing Xing Xing's words, Gui Wuivu didn't react at all. He just curled his lips to express his dissatisfaction. His name had already been called out, and he protested countless times to no avail, so he simply ignored it. Who? At this moment, Wang Feng suddenly let out a long breath, and then said softly. No need to guess, I already know which race the enemy is this time. They are already here. Then, Wang Feng's figure flashed and disappeared without a trace. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1103. Wang Feng's actions shocked everyone in the central control hall. They didn't know what was going on with Wang Feng. Why did he suddenly disappear? Could it be that the enemy has already arrived? However, everyone looked at the screen and found nothing unusual. This situation made Lu Feng, Tang Haoshan, and others look ugly. Looking at Wang Feng's actions, it was obvious that the enemy had appeared, otherwise Wang Feng would not have charged directly. Going out, although they don't know where Wang Feng is now, he should have nothing else to do except to stop the enemy. Raise the energy shield, sound the alarm, and everyone is ready to fight. Lu Feng roared and turned around to rush out to gather the army, but Duan Lei stopped him at this time. Lao Lu. Come back. It's not the time to fight now, wait until the madman comes back. Hearing Duan Lei's words, Lu Feng suddenly stopped and turned around to look at Duan Lei. Everyone else was also staring at Duan Lei, wondering what he meant. Hey! What is supposed to come will come eventually. You can't avoid it by hiding. Duan Lei sighed softly, with a hint of helplessness in his eyes. Is it, the Kali tribe? Seeing Duan Lei's expression, Lu Feng was the first to shout out. After all, he was once the leader of a camp. His manager and knowledge were far superior to others. Seeing Duan Lei's expression and Wang Feng's previous actions, it's not hard to guess this. Lu Feng's reminder also caused everyone present to fall into silence. Ever since they entered the Endless Tower, they knew that Wang Feng had always had a stone in his heart, and that was the Kali tribe where Shami San Xiao was located. This race can be said to be the first alien race they have come into contact with, and it is also the race they least know how to treat. It can be said that they are allies. The Kali tribe's world-destroying skyfire killed an unknown number of people at that time. The human race, but precisely because of their world-destroying skyfire, the human race on Atlantis was able to grow rapidly and not be destroyed by the invasion of the Devourer and the Cosmic Ghost Army behind. Especially Xiaomi Sangxiao. Although these three people have always been taciturn, and even Wang Mi and Wang Lu did not say a word to them. It was Wang Mi who came to communicate with them. But at the original Hope Base, everyone they all regard them as their own. Even if they later learned that they were not human beings, but Kali tribesmen, no one had any change towards them, but now. They are in the Endless Tower, and it is simply impossible to coexist peacefully. This is the rule of the Endless Tower, which cannot be changed by either of them. Among the two races, there must be one race that will be the loser. Moreover, the losing party must be the Kali tribe, because if they fail, at least more than half of the tribe will be left, but if the human race fails, then the human race will be wiped out. Therefore, no matter what the relationship between the two tribes was in the past, they must fight against the Kali tribe. Even Wang Feng cannot use the destruction of the human race to liberate the Kali tribe. This is a major event related to the continuation of our race, and it is impossible to mix any personal emotions into it. At this time, Wang Feng had already arrived outside the defensive fortress, because he had a special way of contacting Sangxiao. To be precise, he had a special way of contacting Wang Sha. He could sense the other party from a long distance. Originally, he only had Wang Sha could feel Wang Feng, but later Wang Sha did something and was able to leave his soul imprint in Wang Feng, so Wang Feng could also feel Wang Feng's existence. Just now, Wang Feng suddenly felt that Wang Sha appeared about 15 kilometers away from the human race's defensive fortress, and then teleported directly over to join Wang Sha. After leaving the defensive fortress, Wang Feng flew directly into the air and flew towards the location of Wang Sha. He flew directly at a height of about 300 meters above the ground. At this height, even if the Kali tribe was ambushing Wang Feng, also confident to escape. After all, after being separated from the third child for so long, no one knows what their situation is now, so Wang Feng is also very vigilant. No matter what the third child says, he is also a member of the Kali tribe, not a human being. At this time, Wang Feng cannot guarantee that. They are still the same as before. From a distance, Wang Feng saw a group of people on the ground, probably less than 100 people, standing in front of a spaceship, waiting for him, so Wang Feng flew directly over, and before them landed in front. When he saw the old man surrounded by the crowd, Wang Feng couldn't help but be startled. Then he looked at the people around the old man and felt relieved, because he was almost sure that the Kali tribe seemed to be coming. Negotiation is not about fighting. Because the man in the middle is surprisingly the father of the blue-eyed old man, the real leader of the Kali tribe in the outer universe. Of course, what Wang Feng has seen is the leader of the Kali tribe in the sub-universe, not this universe. Yes, but there is no difference in their images. Even the fluctuations of life energy are exactly the same. It's actually you. After Wang Feng fell down, he suddenly smiled, then walked straight to the Kali tribe, looked at the old man and said, "You actually came here in person?" And Wang Feng pointed to the people around him and said, "You've brought all your think tanks here, aren't you afraid that I'll suddenly turn against you? If I leave all of you behind, you Kali tribe will probably suffer heavy losses, right?" Afterwards, Wang Feng's eyes fell on Xiaomi Sanxiao. They hadn't seen him for a long time. Xiaomi Sanxiao was still the same as before, and they didn't use the invisibility skill now. They just stood at the front of the team, watching. With Wang Feng. After seeing Wang Feng, the third child's eyes seemed a little excited, but they did not move their bodies. They did not know whether they were afraid of being misunderstood by Wang Feng or for other reasons. You have seen me. The leader of the Kali tribe looked at Wang Feng in confusion, and then looked at the blue-eyed old man, the leader of the Kali tribe who had been in contact with Wang Feng several times. Because of the opening of the Endless Road, all the Kali tribe, finally they all came together. Seen it? Wang Feng nodded, then shook his head. But it's not you that I've seen, but, isn't it right? Although I've seen you in the sub-universe, that's because I rushed directly to your planet and saved you. In this universe, there is no past, so, how did you escape from the Devourer army? Hearing Wang Feng's words, the leader of the Kali tribe was stunned, and then suddenly laughed. That's right. Since the Endless Road has been opened, you have naturally been to the sub-universe, so, you have indeed seen me, but, it's another me. Right. Although you are not the one who saved me, I still want to thank you, because it was you who saved me in the parallel universe, so my life trajectory has also changed. I don't know if I should have died in our home planet, but at least now I am still alive and can still stand in front of you and talk to you, maybe it is because of you. You also know about the Paraverse. Wang Feng was shocked. It seemed that the Kali tribe was not such a simple race, but it was right to think about it. Even the goblins and the Bray tribe couldn't master their light transmission technology. It can be seen that the Kali tribe, they also have their secrets. Know something? The old man nodded and looked at Wang Feng. However, this is not the topic we should be talking about now. Then the old man looked up at the sky, smiled meaningfully, then looked at Wang Feng and said, "We appeared on the same floor of the Endless Tower. This doesn't seem to be something worth celebrating, but I still prepared some wine and food. Let's chat while drinking." Wang Feng looked at the third child, then looked at the old man, and nodded happily. Okay. The reason why Wang Feng agreed so happily was because he did not feel murderous intention in the life fluctuations of this old man or even other Kali people. He had experienced countless brushes with death. For those who fight, as long as someone wants to kill him, there is no need to take action at all. As long as he thinks about it in his heart, Wang Feng can feel it from the fluctuations in his life. This is an intuition, a kind of intuition that can only be experienced by many dangers. The intuition that talent is capable of. After sitting down on an open space next to the spaceship, Wang Feng looked at Sang Xiao and asked with a smile. I didn't expect that the three of you actually passed through the primitive passage and found your tribe with just three of you. All of us have gone through a lot of battles and died a lot before we returned to the primitive stars. We sneaked back directly without fighting at all. Wang Mi sat next to Wang Feng and said softly. Although there are a lot of monsters, as long as you don't alert them, it's not difficult. Hearing Wang Mi's words, Wang Feng couldn't help but shake his head and smile bitterly. Comparing people to each other will really make people angry. Let alone the human race's ancient passage, they can't become invisible. Even if they can, it will definitely not work. After all, even the Endless Tower all came out. Try the wine of our Kali tribe. By the way, I also want to thank you. Without you, we might be in even greater trouble now. At this time, the old man of the Kali tribe handed over a glass of green wine and said to Wang Feng. I think. You should know the rules in the Endless Tower, right? Wang Feng looked at the glass of wine, hesitated, then took it, then looked at the old man and asked. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1104. Ha 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 ha. Hearing Wang Feng's words, the old man laughed and said. Of course I know. Don't worry about this. There is nothing for you to worry about on this level. At most, it's just that you can't harvest the slave core. I think, with the relationship between our two clans, you always have to give this little face. Mine. Slave core. Wang Feng was stunned. What's that? Ah! This time it was the old man's turn to be shocked. He waited to look at Wang Feng, but found that Wang Feng's expression was very serious, and it didn't look like he was faking it at all. After thinking about it for a moment, he said with a sudden realization. Oh! Maybe the names are different. Well, the slave corps are the creatures of other races you brought with you. We call them the hard work corps, but according to your human language, maybe it is more appropriate to call them the cannon fodder corps. Liza. Recall all our reconnaissance planes. This level is the Kali tribe, there is no need to conduct reconnaissance. Wang Feng first turned to the communicator and asked Duan Lei to recall the soldiers who were out for reconnaissance, and then looked at the old man and said. You also know that we are bringing members of the Phantom clan with us. When asking this question, Wang Feng was a little surprised. They had been in this level for more than 3 days, but they had not found any trace of the Kali tribe. Now they were not far away from their human defense fortress. Far away, at least within the range of their weapons, but their own side still did not find these Kali tribesmen. The Kali tribe didn't even know they were coming, but they were able to come to find them. What's even more exaggerated is that they actually knew that there were tribesmen of other races in their defensive fortress, which was a bit scary. And looking at the old man's determined look, it didn't look like he was being blind, so Wang Feng felt that they seemed to underestimate the technology of the Kali tribe. However, after hearing Wang Feng's words, the old man of the Kali tribe was stunned for a moment and said in astonishment. The Phantom tribe? They don't seem to have much fighting power, right? And this kind of soul life is not suitable for use as cannon fodder? What about people from other races? Other races? Wang Feng was stunned when he heard the old man's words, and then recalled it carefully. It seems that in the current human race fortress, except for the Phantom tribe, there are no other races, right? Oh. No, there is also Li Yingning. He is a devourer, not a human race, but there is only one like him. Moreover, Sang Xiao and the others also know about Li Yingning's existence and know that they will not treat Li Yingning as cannon fodder. So he must be talking about people of other races. In other words, it seems that the old man did not really detect the situation inside their defensive fortress, but I don't know what caused him to make this wrong guess. Other races. Wang Feng looked at the old man and said seriously. Now, except for 1,000 members of the Phantom tribe and one devourer, there are no lives from other races in our place. Huh? Ugh. After hearing Wang Feng's words, the old man slowly shook his head with a sad look on his face. You still have too little experience. Although it seems happy and worry-free to eliminate all races in their own layer, but, this will increase the losses of your human race, and may even it will make your trip to the Endless Tower fail. You have to know that what you have to do now is to fight against more than 10,000 races with the power of a clan. Even if you do it one by one, it is still a very arduous task, and the number of deaths of your human race is always accumulated. You don't have to start over every time you reach a floor. You should not destroy all those races, but you should take them in and let them follow you to this level. Look at this huge fortress of yours. It should have spatial properties inside. It can accommodate more other races. The tribesmen have no problem at all. And after reaching the next level, you can directly use the race on the upper level as cannon fodder. They will do it anyway if they don't want to. At least if you become cannon fodder, you will be lucky enough to live for a while longer. But it's not too late now. After all, not even 1/10 of the entire Endless Tower has passed. It's still too late for you to start now. Remember, after the number of kills is reached, if you have the ability, you can absorb all the opponents, and then when you are on the next level, use it as your own force. Only in this way can you destroy all races with minimal losses. I think, you have misunderstood. Wang Feng put down the wine glass in his hand, shook his head slightly and said. We, the human race, have not really wiped out any race so far, nor have we coerced those defeated races to serve as cannon fodder for us. The reason for the phantom race is because they cannot survive for a long time without other races. In order to continue their inheritance, we brought those 1,000 phantom spirit members with us. And we didn't treat them as cannon fodder. We just designated a separate area for them to survive. Once we successfully break through the endless road and climb to the top of the endless tower, we will let them leave. Of course, we take them in not because we pity them, but because their information is useful to us and we need to use their information. Therefore, this is just a transaction where everyone gets what they need. Didn't you destroy any race? The old man was shocked. Then, didn't he tell you about that thing? Hearing the old man's vague words, Wang Feng knew that he was talking about the controller, and taking things was naturally the mark of the controller, but because of restrictions, he couldn't say it clearly, so he shook his head and said, I know. But I'm not interested in that, I just don't want the human race to perish, so I have to start killing. If it weren't for that damn rule, we don't even want to conflict with any race. Since there is no with that kind of rule, why should I have to exterminate other races? The rules of the endless road do not say that other races must be exterminated. We just need to complete our own tasks, which can not only reduce our own casualties, but also leave a way for other races to survive. Wouldn't everyone feel more relaxed? The old man looked at Wang Feng and couldn't speak for a long time. Looking at the expression of Wang Feng when he spoke, he knew that what Wang Feng said was true, and Wang Feng had no need to lie to him. It's just that he couldn't imagine that there were people in this world who didn't take the position of controller seriously. In fact, the Kali tribe had controllers many generations ago. They also entered the Endless Tower like Wang Feng and swept all other races as a protagonist. It's just that because the Kali tribe is a technological race, it is not very different from the human race, because the human race is basically Wang Feng's highest combat power, and he is also the actual supreme leader of the human race, so it is natural that he became a candidate for the controller. But the Kali tribe was not like this at the beginning. Although they had a leader like now, they also had an institution similar to the Supreme Council of the human race, which was specifically used to restrain the leader. So in the end, the Kali tribe gave birth to the candidate of the controller through election, and the candidate of the controller at that time had many restrictions. It was impossible for him to be like Wang Feng now, who could basically decide all the affairs of the human race. And it was precisely because of the special situation of the Kali tribe at that time that the people who knew the secret of the controller, in addition to the candidate of the Kali tribe, there were also 12 people in power in the Kali tribe at that time, who also knew the secret of the controller. Probably because they knew that the candidate of the controller could not make the decision in the Kali tribe at all, those high-ranking creatures acquiesced that the total of 13 people in the Kali tribe at that time entered the controller space. Therefore, the secret of the controller is not known to Wang Feng alone in the Kali tribe like it is to humans. It is not known whether those creatures made a mistake or they did not expect the final outcome. In short, the secret of the controller space was spread among the Kali tribe. As for this secret, it was passed down by the original person. Now no one knows it, and it has been countless generations since then, but this secret has finally been passed down by word of mouth by every Kali leader. Of course, this secret is only known to the highest leader of the Kali tribe. Only when he knows that he is leaving this world will he reveal the secret to the next generation of leaders. Therefore, the current leader of the Kali tribe hesitated when talking to Wang Feng and could not express it directly. In fact, even the blue-eyed old man that Wang Feng first met did not know the secret. Although the current leader of the Kali tribe had decided to perish with his planet, the situation was too tense at the time and he had no time to tell the blue-eyed old man the secret. Unexpectedly, he actually survived the disaster in the end. It was precisely because he knew the secret of the controller very well that the old man was shocked by Wang Feng's current attitude. Seeing the old man's expression, Wang Feng suddenly smiled and said, "Let's talk alone." "Okay." The old man said nothing and asked everyone else to leave, even his son, the blue-eyed old man. Seeing that everyone else had left, Wang Feng looked at the blue-eyed old man and said, "Tell me, about the controller, how much do you know about them?" Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1105. Hearing Wang Feng's words, the old man was shocked. He never expected that Wang Feng would say the three words controller so lightly. You know, even the Kali tribe who passed the secret to him before the old leader also left a video after his death to tell him this secret, and also warned him not to say this name directly at any time. Looking at the old man's expression, Wang Feng suddenly smiled and then said, "Actually, I already have a rough guess about them. It's just that I want to confirm it with you. It doesn't matter if I can't say it. I also received such a warning at the beginning. Anyway, whether to confirm or not, I have made my choice now. Even if I want to change it, it's probably too late. Let's do this. Just tell me what we should do now." "What to do?" The old man was stunned and didn't understand what Wang Feng meant. "I'm not talking about them, I'm talking about us." Seeing that the old man did not react, Wang Feng explained. "Didn't you say before that we don't need to worry about this level?" "Oh. This." Only then did the old man understand, and then he took a deep breath and said, "You just need to wait. In fact, we have been waiting for you to come for a long time. All preparations have been made. Don't worry, we have our own ways to avoid the endless road. This can be regarded as our part of the legacy." "You mean, your race has been passed down through the endless road many times and has been passed down?" Wang Feng asked with some confusion. "Of course not." The old man shook his head quickly and said, "What I mean is that we have a way for you to complete your mission. In fact, it means, killing our own people and letting you pass safely. We can't defeat you anyway." Seeing the panicked look on the old man's face, Wang Feng frowned, and then seemed to think of something, so he just nodded without continuing to speak. "I have a request, I hope you can agree to it." The old man looked at Wang Feng and said softly, "You say." Wang Feng did not agree rashly, but planned to listen to the old man's request first. "It's actually very simple. I want you to take in 6 of our tribe members." The old man said, "Actually, you have seen these people, my son, and the 2 people around him, and the one you call Shami San Xiao. In fact, Shami San Xiao was not called this name originally, but since they came back, it seems that it's like he's become a different person. Even if I call them by their original names, they won't agree, so I have to keep this name. This is no problem." Wang Feng nodded. Although he and Sang Xiao have not seen each other for a long time, Wang Feng still has enough trust in these 3 little guys. Although Wang Feng also knows that killer Sang Xiao is not actually a child, but his body shape looks like that's all, but when Wang Feng saw the 3rd child, he would still recall the scene when he first met them at Lu Wanting's camp. Wang Feng knew that although the 3 of them had lost their previous powerful strength due to body modification, they still had the ability to protect themselves. Even without themselves, they would never die. Moreover, Xiaomi San Xiao came to approach him with the mission given to them by the old man. They were definitely not as pitiful as they appeared at first. As for their father, of course they were also fabricated casually. However, in subsequent contacts, although Xiaomi Sang Xiao was from the Kali tribe, he had never done anything detrimental to the human race, and had been helping Wang Feng solve many problems, and even saved his life. So Wang Feng naturally has no problem accepting the killing of the 3 miners. In addition, the son the old man mentioned was of course the blue-eyed old man. Wang Feng was naturally willing to accept this person. Anyway, including the 3 children, there were only 6 people, and there was no threat to the human race at all. Moreover, Wang Feng even felt that the addition of these 6 people should strengthen the human race's combat power a lot. At least they can have a dedicated person in charge of the light transmission system. Now they have just reached the 1000th floor, and the entire endless tower is less than 1/10. If the Kali tribe joins, it should be of great help to them, regardless of the technology of the Kali tribe. Or Sang Xiao's terrifying stealth assassination, can all come in handy. Seeing that Wang Feng agreed happily, the old man breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Wang Feng agreed to this, his plan would be basically completed. As for the final result, it has nothing to do with him. After all, he has never truly experienced the endless road before. Can I ask, how do you plan to let us complete the task on this level? Wang Feng thought for a while, and finally asked the question in his heart. After hearing Wang Feng's words, the old man took a deep breath, sighed, and then said, "We are about to start. If you want to know, just follow us." After saying this, the old man turned around and walked towards the spacecraft. Wang Feng thought for a moment and did not follow. Instead, he took out a small fighter plane, jumped on it, and sat in the cockpit and waited quietly, watching them. Seeing the old man coming back, the other Kali people tidied up and then all entered the spacecraft. Then the spacecraft took off and flew in one direction. Wang Feng quickly activated his fighter plane and followed him, but not far after he flew out, he found several small fighter planes following behind him. Crazy. What did they say? Before Wang Feng could ask questions, Du Enlei's voice came from the communicator. Well, they said they can solve this level by themselves without us having to do anything, so I plan to go over and have a look. Wang Feng told the truth that when he talked to the old man before, he did not turn on the communicator. Therefore, only the two of him knew about his previous conversation with the Kali old man. Du Enlei and the others did not know what happened. Just seeing Wang Feng take out the fighter plane, Du Enlei and the others wanted to come over and take a look. Because they were afraid of being misunderstood by the Kali tribe, they did not fly the space battleship, but followed them in a small fighter plane. Anyway, Du Enlei and the others also knew that there was Yanhuang in Wang Feng's Xianyuan space. If there really was a fight, they wouldn't be so passive. Solve it yourself. Lu Feng, who was in another small fighter plane, felt a little strange, so he said, "Then let's go take a look. There should be no problem, right?" After Lu Feng finished speaking, Wang Feng looked at the spaceship in front of him and found that the spacecraft did not make any response, so he nodded and said, "It should be fine. Let's go take a look first, but no matter what you see, please don't interfere." "Yeah. I know this." Lu Feng agreed casually, and then everyone stopped talking and just followed behind the spaceship, which was almost 2 kilometers away. Where is their base? 5 or 6 hours later, the voices of the Martian trio rang out in the communicator. They had been running behind the spacecraft for so long, but the spacecraft still showed no intention of stopping. Martian and the others couldn't help but feel a little confused. Impatient. Wang Feng shook his head gently. Although he was actually about the same age as the Martian trio, in his opinion, these 3 guys were just 3 little brats who couldn't hold their breath at all. How long has it been since then and they are already getting anxious? It seemed that he still didn't have enough experience. Wang Feng secretly wondered in his heart, should he let the instructor Li Yingning give them a refresher? But before Wang Feng could make a decision, the Kali spacecraft in front had already begun to slow down. Wang Feng looked at the surrounding environment. It seemed that this place was the same as the previous places. There was no trace of anything. No, is the Kali tribe's base located here? He looked down at the life detector of the small fighter plane and found that except for the life signals of them and the Kali tribe on the spacecraft ahead, it did not show any other life nearby. Wang Feng couldn't help but stare ahead carefully. Sure enough, When the Kali tribe's spaceship gradually came to a stop, the area in front suddenly began to distort. Then, something that surprised Wang Feng and the others happened. A huge city appeared directly in front of them out of thin air, with a scale similar to that of the city. Compared with the city of the Buri tribe, it is not inferior at all. Damn it! How did they hide such a big city? Mars shouted. Their reconnaissance plane must have been to this area before, but found nothing. You know, this is not just one or two people, but a rather large city, with an external area that is at least as large as the human race's defensive fortress. More than 10 times the number, and they didn't notice it? Isn't this too ridiculous? Duan Lei and others were also shocked. No matter who it was impossible to remain calm after seeing such a magnificent city being able to become invisible. This kind of technology is really amazing. Wang Feng also nodded secretly, and had already made a plan in his heart. No matter what this time, he must get this technology that can make the city invisible in the hands of the Kali people. At least, he must let the Kali people take over the defense of the human race. The fortress was transformed again and became like the city, capable of disappearing under the eyes of others at any time. However, immediately, something even more surprising happened to Wang Feng and the others. Less than a minute after the city appeared, countless fireballs fell from the sky, roaring and crashing into the city. World-destroying sky fire. Wang Feng's body shook violently, and he looked at the magnificent city in front of him in disbelief. The situation in front of him seemed so familiar to him, because he had seen it with his own eyes when he was on the planet Atlantis, and even more so. Having experienced the scene personally, the world-destroying heavenly fire actually appeared in front of him again. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1106. Duan Lei and his other fighters also stopped, hovering next to Wang Feng's fighter, quietly looking at the spectacular scenery ahead. Even though he couldn't see their expressions now, Wang Feng could guess that they were probably better than him. Not much better. The scale of the world-destroying skyfire in front of them is not comparable to the one they launched in Atlantis. After all, the world-destroying skyfire that time covered the entire planet, but this time it only covered a city. No matter how grand the scale of the city is, it cannot compare to the scale of a planet. However, although the scope of the apocalyptic skyfire was smaller, everyone was still shocked when they saw it, especially Wang Feng and the others. They were watching the fireballs fall from the sky one after another and hit the city, and the Kali people in the city, when they were running around in panic, they couldn't help but think of the original ones. It can be said that the apocalyptic skyfire is the starting point for people like them to become stronger, and it is also the end point for a large part of ordinary humans. The billions of people in the entire Atlantis planet have been reduced to 10 by now. Maybe for Wang Feng and the others, in other words, if there had not been the Doomsday skyfire and they had not become stronger, they might have died when the Devourer came. But for those who die in the apocalypse, if there is no apocalyptic skyfire, at least they can continue to survive for a while. The blue-eyed old man looked at the scene in front of him quietly. It was also the second time he saw this scene. Even the angles were similar. They were all viewed from the spaceship. It can be said that they were all viewed from the perspective of the audience. But now he knows that launching this kind of apocalyptic skyfire in the territory of other races is not comparable to launching the apocalyptic skyfire among his own people. When he launched this on Atlantis, he was calm and without a trace of guilt, because he told himself that although he caused the death of many human beings, he was saving the human race. Although he also wanted to borrow the help of the human race to help him destroy the Devourer, he felt in his heart that this was always good for the human race. Survival of the fittest was a natural law. but now seeing his tribe members being engulfed by huge fireballs, the blue-eyed old man's body is trembling slightly, but now that it has started, it cannot be stopped. This is also a measure that the Kali tribe has to take in order to continue. As early as after entering the Endless Tower, the senior leaders of the Kali tribe were already discussing how to resolve this incident. Because they can be said to know the rules of the Endless Road best, and of course they know what they will face in the future. They have never thought about defeating the human race, because they know that one is that the human race has become stronger and it should be quite difficult to defeat them, and the other most important reason is that they know some of the rules of the Endless Road. Every time the Endless Road is opened, it must be carried out to the end. In other words, there must be a race that successfully climbs the Endless Tower before it is complete. If the human race fails, then the race that defeats them will become the new chosen race, will take over from the human race and continue on. In fact, to put it bluntly, no matter which layer they are on and what race the defenders are, the winning side will continue to pass the level. The only difference is that if the defending side fails, if they are not exterminated, they will be considered to have escaped. If the chosen clan fails, there will naturally be only one ending for them: the entire army will be annihilated. Although their race will not be truly extinct, the new races that appear have nothing to do with them, because that is already another universe and another era. This rule has been passed down from generation to generation by the Kali tribe. Although it has not been verified, the leader of the Kali tribe firmly believes in it. Although he cannot really tell the secret, he can make his tribe believe that no matter what you do, it is for the continuation of your own race. The leader of the Kali tribe knows in his heart that their race simply does not have the ability to complete the Endless Road. If they defeat the human race, they will be completely annihilated. Instead of doing this, they might as well just admit defeat when the humans arrive, so that at least they can still have more than half of their people left. This suggestion was made by the blue-eyed old man, because he thought he had some friendship with Wang Feng, especially when Xiaomi San Xiao returned. He felt more confident, so he suggested to his father that there was no need for human race. They started to reduce their own numbers. As long as they let the humans complete the task, then the remaining clansmen would at least survive this endless road. Wang Feng flew his small fighter plane to the spacecraft where the Kali tribe launched the apocalyptic Sci-Fi. He parked the fighter plane at the docking point of the spacecraft, and then got out of the fighter plane. Wang Feng could be said to be quite familiar with the Kali tribe's spaceship. So he teleported directly to the command cabin where the leader of the Kali tribe was. "Does it look familiar?" Seeing Wang Feng come in, the old man asked lightly. Although he tried to keep his voice calm, Wang Feng still saw a trace of sadness in their eyes. "Why do you do it this way?" Wang Feng asked, looking at Tianhuo, who still didn't stop. "A group of people are going to die anyway. In this way, at least the ones who survive will be the strong ones. Survival of the fittest," the old man said softly. "But, there will always be some people who are powerful but unlucky." Wang Feng shook his head. "Don't you humans have a saying, luck is also a part of strength?" The old man turned around and said, "No matter what, we have chosen this method anyway, so let's do it. All the people living in the city are our ordinary people, unlike your human race, who stayed on the original star. The tribesmen are basically at least level 3 experts. And our Kali tribe, due to innate reasons, has many tribesmen who have not even reached the first level, and these people account for the vast majority. The tribesmen you saw back then, including my son and Shami San Xiao, are actually the elites of our clan. That's why they were sent to the outer universe. Using this method, ordinary tribesmen can strengthen themselves through a growth method similar to yours. Of course, who can be strengthened in the end and who will become a victim depends on them." The old man saw that Wang Feng's eyes seemed a little disapproving, so he pointed at the city below. This method was finally approved through a vote by the entire clan. In other words, they already knew about these fireballs before they were launched. I mean, everyone in the city knew. What? Wang Feng was really surprised when he heard the old man's words. He originally thought that the method they used must be hidden from the people in the city below, but he didn't expect that they would dare to use this method. Do all kinds of things need to be made public? But if you think about it carefully, you will understand that because the people who stay in the city are ordinary people, they basically have no say. Regardless of whether they agree or not, the decision of the top management will not change. Now that they have entered the Endless Tower, it is their bad luck. Anyway, there are only the Kali tribe on this level, and those ordinary people cannot do it even if they want to leave and go elsewhere. Don't believe it? The old Kali tribe member raised his eyebrows and asked. No, no, no. I believe it. Having figured it out, Wang Feng suddenly smiled and said. Actually, on our original planet, and even our original country, just like you, they would all conduct this kind of democratic voting when passing some major decisions. I guess. Wang Feng looked at the city below that was already in a sea of flames, sighed and said. The result of your vote should be passed by an overwhelming number of votes, right? How do you know? The old man was stunned for a moment, and then he immediately understood what Wang Feng meant. He shook his head and said. It's not what you think, we are really voting, there is no. Never mind. Before the old man could finish speaking, Wang Feng waved his hand and interrupted him. This is a matter for your Kali tribe. In fact, it has nothing to do with me. As long as we humans can pass this level smoothly, we don't care what method you use. Besides, where are the people you want us to take away? Wang Feng looked around. The old man's son, that is, the blue-eyed old man, the leader of the Kali tribe who had led the 3 children to kill them and fled to Atlantis, was not here with the 3 children at this time. In the command module, I don't know where I went. Looking at the current apocalyptic Sci-Fi, Wang Feng can easily think of the past, but it seems that the past was not very beautiful, so Wang Feng is not ready to continue to appreciate it. According to the Kali tribe's method, they should soon hear the sound announcing that they have completed their mission and can enter the next level, so Wang Feng thought of simply taking the 6 people who agreed to the old man to take away to his own. On the small fighter plane, ready to leave at any time. Come right away. The old man seemed to see what Wang Feng was thinking. After answering, he turned around and gestured to a tribesman. The man nodded and left. After a while, he led the blue-eyed old man and the others into the command cabin, killing 3 people. Xiao is among them. I think, I need to apologize to you. After the green-eyed old man entered the command cabin, he walked directly to Wang Feng, looked at him and said solemnly. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1107. Apologize. Hearing what the blue-eyed old man said, Wang Feng couldn't help but be startled. He took them away. The most they could do was say thank you, right? Is there any need to apologize? And when the green-eyed old man looked at Wang Feng, he knew that Wang Feng must not understand what he meant. I mean, apologize for this. The green-eyed old man pointed to the world-destroying heavenly fire outside, his face a little sad. I apologize to you for what I did when I was with you. Wang Feng looked back at the city outside, then at the blue-eyed old man, and shook his head gently. Forget it. Don't mention the past anymore. No matter who is right or wrong, we can't go back now. You launched this on us in order to survive, and now in order to complete the mission, we have to. Having said this, Wang Feng stopped continuing and turned his attention to the 3rd primary school of killing and killing. Unexpectedly, Wang Feng actually saw a hint of excitement in the eyes of the 3rd primary school. He couldn't help but smile and nod, and then said. Honestly, I don't like the scene here very much, so, let's go back to our place first, right? The blue-eyed old man was stunned for a moment, then understood what Wang Feng meant, so he looked at his father. The two looked at each other for a while, and then the leader of the Kali tribe nodded and said, "Let's go. When you can leave, you can just follow them. There is no need to say goodbye again." "Yes." The blue-eyed old man performed the Kali etiquette towards his father and then nodded to Wang Feng. "Let's go." Wang Feng led these 6 people towards his small fighter plane. In addition to killing the 3 young men, behind the blue-eyed old man were 2 people with red helmets and blue helmets. Lan Helmet looked at Wang Feng, who was walking in the front, and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. In the past, Wang Feng, in his eyes, could be destroyed with just a wave of his hand, but he didn't expect that now he has grown to the point where he needs to look up to him. There is no need to fight against Wang Feng. Blue Helmet knows that he is definitely not Wang Feng's opponent. He can't even cause him any harm. Just by looking at the growth of Xiaomi San Xiao, you can know how terrifying Wang Feng is now. Wang Feng flew directly into the sky in a small fighter plane, and then said in the communicator, "Liza, let's go back. The Kali tribe shouldn't have to worry about us." "Clear." Duan Lei replied, then glanced at the burning city in the distance again, sighed, and flew the fighter plane towards the defensive fortress. Xiaomi San Xiao directly entered Wang Feng's small fighter plane, while the 3 people, the blue-eyed old man and the red and blue helmet, boarded another Kali tribe's small spaceship and followed Wang Feng. In fact, Wang Feng originally wanted the Kali tribe to help them renovate the defensive fortress, at least allowing them to incorporate a method that could hide the entire city into their defensive fortress. But in this situation, he really couldn't speak. Although he and the Kali tribe knew that the current situation of the Kali tribe was not something that the human race and the Kali tribe could decide. However, after all, it was because of the arrival of the human race that the current situation will occur. Haha. Is this called retribution? They treated us like this at the beginning, and now it's their turn. Tang Haoshan looked at the city and sneered, and then left in the fighter plane. He spoke directly to the communicator of the small fighter plane. Although he also knew that his words would be heard by the Kali tribe, but Tang Haoshan didn't have any scruples. He had no good impression of the Kali people in the first place. Although he didn't have any objections to the 3 young men, Tang Haoshan felt really uncomfortable with the green-eyed old man who was the culprit who launched the world-destroying heavenly fire. Others did not answer Tang Haoshan's words, because at this moment, the voice had already sounded in their minds. In other words, in this short period of about an hour, the Kali tribe had already more than 40% of the population died. How, so fast? Wang Feng looked back at the blue-eyed old man. He was a little surprised. Because he had the sky eye, Wang Feng had seen clearly before that there were not a large number of Kali people dying in the burning city, unless they were directly killed by the unlucky guy whose body was reduced to ashes when the fireball hit him, and the other people who were shocked by the aftermath, all got up again. Once they lose their minds, they will be judged dead. In other words, the zombies here are not regarded as members of the tribe. The green-eyed old man sighed softly and explained to Wang Feng. The materials we use here are basically the same as those on your planet. We just made some adjustments based on the physique of our Kali tribe, but the consequences are the same. Therefore, what happened with you will basically be repeated with us, except that it will last for a short time because they knew it would be like this in advance. And, now you can after they leave, the strong men in our group will also take action to help them kill those clan members who have been transformed. The green-eyed old man hesitated for a moment, but finally decided not to call his people zombies. Actually, we did this just because we have to have a small number of people from 4 roads anyway. We might as well use this small half of people to improve our work. We originally planned to directly select some people to give them they directly injected that substance to turn them into zombies, but it was later rejected. Those people feel that this kind of selection method may lead to shady stories. Instead of doing this, they would rather wait for the sky fire to come in the city. Everyone relies on luck. It is best to survive. If they die or become zombies, and you can't blame others. Doesn't this make it impossible to cheat? Wang Feng looked at the blue-eyed old man. No. We were separated 2 years ago. There are ordinary people in the city, and they live a normal life there. No one knows when the sky fire will come, because, even us, I don't even know when you will come here. The green-eyed old man looked back and found that he could no longer see his city. And your arrival is the time for us to launch the sky fire. As long as we get in touch with you and reach a consensus, we will directly lower the sky fire without contacting anyone in the city. They have been living there for 2 years, and they cannot be on guard all the time. Therefore, relatively speaking, it is fair to those in the city. He. Wang Feng suddenly smiled and then said. It should be relatively fair to ordinary people, right? That's right. The blue-eyed old man answered calmly. There is no absolute fairness in this world. No matter which race or planet you are on, even in your place, I think it is the same. People with strong abilities will get more resources, while people with poor abilities will not. No matter how hard he works, he will never get the same treatment. There is no way, this world is like this, either you have the ability or you have the connections. If you don't have anything, then you can't blame anyone. Wang Feng was unable to refute the words of the blue-eyed old man. He was right. Even in their place, the Hope Expeditionary Force undoubtedly received the best resources. This had already started when they were still the Guardian Legion. Whether it was the original strengthening potion or the evolutionary potion, they were given priority, which allowed them to grow from ordinary survivors to the strongest legion of the human race now. Although their own efforts are involved, their personal strength is undoubtedly the most important factor. The simplest thing is that they all passed the assessment of instructor Li Yingning. And those who failed the assessment, although they also had fighting consciousness, could only be classified into other legions, and their treatment was naturally very different. Maybe they were 2 survivors who came out of the same camp in Atlantis. Now one is a warrior of the Hope Expeditionary Force, a 10th level strongman, and the other is an evolver or even an enhancer, busy among the crowd every day, unknown to the public. This is the fate of life. When the opportunity comes, you see it, and you have the ability to seize it, you can rise. Otherwise, you can only continue to wait, even wait for your whole life. After returning to the defensive fortress, Wang Feng saw the portal at a glance, but after thinking about it, he did not stop the fighter directly, but entered the defensive fortress first. After thinking about it during his return, Wang Feng finally decided that no matter what, he would give it a try to see if he could make the human defensive fortress also have the ability to become invisible. Although it's hard to say anything, this is after all a matter of life and death for the human race. Wang Feng doesn't want to miss this opportunity because of his own embarrassment. After leading the blue-eyed old man and his party to the defensive fortress, Wang Feng first asked Duan Lei and the others to arrange accommodation for these people, and then found the blue-eyed old man. Can I ask you a question? When Wang Feng and the old man with green eyes were alone in the accommodation arranged for the old man with green eyes, Wang Feng finally spoke. Can. The green-eyed old man nodded. Why couldn't we find your city before? Can our defensive fortress also have this ability? Wang Feng simply stated his intention directly. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1108. After looking at Wang Feng, the blue-eyed old man nodded and said. This is no problem. In fact, we have already brought the things here. We just need to modify your defensive fortress. The 2 people I brought can easily complete it. But, having said this, the green-eyed old man suddenly changed the subject and said. Actually, this is not as useful as you think. It has a serious shortcoming, it cannot be used with the energy shield at the same time. In other words, in the invisible state, this defensive fortress cannot turn on the energy shield. Because it actually transforms the energy shield to make itself disappear through space refraction, and it can basically avoid all radar systems, so either turn on the energy shield or turn on the stealth system. You will master this by yourself when the time comes. Wang Feng was stunned for a moment when he heard this, but then he thought that it would not be a disadvantage if it was installed anyway. It was not up to them to decide which one to turn on at that time, as long as its installation would not damage the shield system of the defensive fortress. Fortunately, these two systems can coexist. If only one could be installed, Wang Feng would be in trouble. Because in fact, speaking of the stealth system, it only works when the enemy does not know his position. If the stealth system is turned on in front of the enemy, then they don't need to care about where you are, and they will directly face your position. Just fire. Although invisible to the eyes and radar, the attack will still fail. Therefore, this stealth system is not perfect. This system won't affect the strength of the energy shield, right? For the sake of safety, Wang Feng confirmed it again. Won't. The green-eyed old man said firmly. It just can't be turned on at the same time, it won't have any impact on the energy shield. How long will it take to install this? Wang Feng asked again. The green-eyed old man hesitated for a moment, and then said. Well, we can't be sure for the time being, because your defensive fortress should have spatial attributes, so we have to take a look first, but generally speaking, 1 month is enough. Okay. Let's get this done first. Then we'll go to the next level. Wang Feng thought about it and realized that 1 month was not much time. They could wait. Anyway, it would have taken at least a month to pass the first floor. It even took them nearly a year to pass the first floor. Yes, the Kali tribe has only stayed for 4 days now, so they can definitely afford to wait. Moreover, it is best to get the stealth system here. The Kali people are still the guardians of this layer. Once they need anything else during the transformation, they can be directly sent back to get it. Once they leave, it is impossible to come back. Impossible. Okay. Then I'll notify them right now. The green-eyed old man nodded, and then left his room with Wang Feng. After walking out of the room, Wang Feng threw a communicator to the blue-eyed old man, and then said. You have no restrictions here. You can go anywhere in the entire defensive fortress. You can familiarize yourself with the environment first and study how to install the stealth system. If you have any questions, you can contact me at any time. Yeah. Thanks. The green-eyed old man nodded, and then walked towards the room with the red and blue helmet next door, while Wang Feng teleported directly to the central control hall. At this time, Doomsday had come back, because arranging people to live in this kind of thing has always been leave it to Shen Yishan. Wang Feng first told Doomsday about the stealth system. Of course Doomsday would not object when he learned that. Although this system had certain flaws, it would not be a problem if it was installed first to add another function to their defensive fortress. That's right. And Xiaomi Sangxiao also followed Wang Feng into the central control hall. After they entered the defensive fortress, they still stayed with Wang Feng as before, but except for Wang Feng, others don't know they exist. I have to say that the stealth skills of Sangxiao are indeed powerful. If Wang Feng had not had a soul connection with them, he probably would not have been able to detect his existence. This soul connection is Wang Sha's superpower, and it was usually used to track targets before. Later when they parted ways on the ancient road, Wang Sha simply established a soul connection with Wang Feng directly. This kind of soul connection is permanent. As long as Wang Feng and Sangxiao enter a certain range, they will be able to know each other's existence. This was originally what Wang Mi and the others planned to use to find Wang Feng after arriving at the original star. As a result, Wang Feng actually didn't stay on the primordial star for long before he left the primordial star because he wiped out all the cosmic ghosts on the primordial star. Naturally, the three little ones couldn't find Wang Feng. After listening to Wang Feng's words, Duan Lei nodded slightly and then said, "Then let's stay here for a while, just in time to let those people go out and have some fun. At least for now, it seems that we are only on this level and can have a relatively long vacation." Although Wang Feng and the others had defeated the races on that level in the past, this did not mean that the endless tower on that level was truly safe. Therefore, the ordinary people in the defensive fortress still had to stay inside. Cannot appear in the outside world. The Kali tribe should be basically safe, because even Duan Lei couldn't imagine why they would threaten the safety of the human race after paying such a huge price. Of course, it is not ruled out that some Kali people who have turned into zombies will run here because of the negligence of other Kali people, but for them from Atlantis, zombies are exactly their most familiar enemies. After seeing that Wang Feng also agreed with his words, Duan Lei looked at the three little ones behind Wang Feng, smiled and nodded. "Three little guys. Long time no see. Welcome back." Because when Duan Lei and his friends saw the three little ones before, they all thought they were three little kids, so they called them that. Later, although they knew their true identities, they were already used to calling them that, and the three little ones basically didn't contact other people, so Duan Lei thought about it and felt that it was better to use this name. After hearing Duan Lei's words, the three children looked at Duan Lei, and there seemed to be a hint of warmth in their eyes, because this name was what Duan Lei called them when they first met Duan Lei at the Black Dragon Bridge. However, despite this, the three children just nodded gently and still did not speak. Duan Lei also knew their personalities. It was quite good that these three people could respond to him and nodded to him. "Then you take them to get familiar with this place, and I will arrange for people to go out in batches to get some fresh air," Duan Lei said, and then walked out of the central control hall. Although the space in the defense fortress was large and the air was not polluted, it was a closed space after all, and it was definitely not comparable to the outside world. Although there was no sun in the endless tower, it was also good to go outside and look at the sky, especially for those ordinary people who had no chance to step out of the defense fortress. This time, Wang Feng and his team stayed in the Kali tribe for nearly 40 days. Because it involved the laws of space, there were some minor problems in the installation of the invisible system, but it was finally successfully installed in the defense fortress. On this day, Lu Feng, Tang Haoshan, and others were all in the Yanhuang, looking at the defense fortress below, because today was the time for them to test whether the stealth system worked. "Liza, you can start when you are ready," Wang Feng said in the Yanhuang. "Okay. Start the stealth system." Following Duan Lei's voice, Wang Feng and others were surprised to see that the huge defense fortress below was slowly fading, and within 3 seconds, the artifact disappeared. "Damn. Really?" Mars was shocked and quickly looked at the radar system of the Yanhuang, and found that the radar system did not show the existence of the defense fortress. "It looks really good." Wang Feng nodded with satisfaction and said, "In this way, we have an extra trump card." Unfortunately, in the stealth state, most of the functions of the defense fortress must be turned off, otherwise there is a possibility of being discovered. The blue-eyed old man was also on the Yanhuang at this time. He stood behind Wang Feng and sighed softly. "We have not been able to eliminate this drawback. Therefore, this function is probably only used in front of the fighting race. If it encounters a technological race, it is a bit dangerous. After all, at this time, the defense fortress has lost the protection of the energy shield. Moreover, because the stealth system will occupy part of the resources of the shield system, if you want to turn on the shield immediately in an emergency, you must first turn off the stealth system, and then you can start the energy shield. It takes about 1.5 minutes. Wang Feng nodded gently. If there is really an emergency, let alone 1.5 minutes, 1 second is a bit too long. Therefore, this stealth system may be just like what the blue-eyed old man said. It can only be used once or twice in front of the fighting race with very low technology. Chris and his team had studied the stealth system before, but they didn't have any clues. But it doesn't matter. They have only walked 1/10 of the endless road now, and there is plenty of time for them to study later. Lazy eye. Can you hear me? Wang Feng said to the communicator. Yes. Duan Lei's voice came, but at the moment he opened his mouth, a red light suddenly flashed a few times on the radar screen of Yanhuang, and then went out again. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1109. Seeing this red dot, Wang Feng shook his head. It was indeed like this. Because Duan Lei used a communicator, this signal fluctuation was captured by the Yanhuang's radar. If it was an enemy, then the defensive fortress would be said to have been destroyed. Exposed. Okay. Let's drive the Yanhuang in. We are ready to leave. Now that he has tested the stealth system, Wang Feng plans to leave. It seems that if there is a crisis in the future, this stealth system really cannot be used. This is tantamount to gambling. Once someone sees through it, the defensive fortress is basically useless. Lu Feng took over the control of the Yanhuang and flew towards the defensive fortress. Wang Feng teleported, left the Yanhuang and flew directly towards the portal that had already appeared. When all the humans disappeared, a spaceship appeared at the location of the original defensive fortress. The leader of the Kali tribe stood in front of the porthole, silently looking at the closed portal. Chief. Can they succeed? A Kali man standing behind the leader asked softly. I have no idea. The leader of the Kali tribe shook his head slightly and said. Everything that needs to be done has been done. As for the result, that's not something we can decide. After entering the next level, the human race still followed the previous method and sent out reconnaissance planes flying in all directions. But this time, they obtained the information on this level of race after only 3 hours. Due to the Eidolon clan's database, basically they can know most of the other party's situation as long as they see each other. Huh. It's indeed true. After seeing the Guardian race information this time, Duan Lei breathed a sigh of relief and said. It's the Gaia tribe. It's just a small race. The Third Legion should be able to kill them. Wang Feng carefully looked at the information on the Jia tribe and the images sent back by the reconnaissance plane, and then shouted directly. Mars. This level is left to you. Lead the Third Legion to handle it. Good. Mars was overjoyed. Although this Jia tribe should be easy to deal with, they were leading the troops themselves. The Mars trio all liked this feeling. Go, go, go. Li Fei and Hao Shui also ran outside quickly, preparing to gather troops. In this case, they cannot use the space battleship, because the space battleship consumes too much energy after all, especially in a place like this. If it is in the outer space, then the space battleship does not matter whether it attacks or not. Anyway, as long as you don't turn on the shield and don't launch an attack, there is basically no consumption. After Mars and the others left, just 4 days later, the voice announcing that the human race had successfully passed the test rang in their minds. Wang Feng simply entered the portal directly without waiting for Mars and the others to return. I don't know what race it will be this time. Logically speaking, it's the 5,000th level, so it should be a pretty powerful race. Looking at the small fighters flying away, Duan Lei sighed softly. Now they have reached the 5,000th floor of the Endless Tower, which happens to be another large integer floor. According to the rules of the Endless Tower, this floor must be another. It will be a very powerful race. I don't know what race it is, but now I find that every time we reach this stage, we are just like gambling, there is always a sense of anticipation. Wang Feng also looked at the retreating fighter plane and chuckled, then pointed at Lu Feng and others who also stretched their necks with expectant expressions on their faces. At this time, it has been nearly 30 years since they entered the Endless Tower. The prospects of the human race are not very optimistic now. Although the human race of Enhancer and above have experienced nothing big after 30 years. Changes, but those ordinary people can hardly stand the erosion of time. Originally, it was nothing for them to grow old or even die. Birth, aging, illness and death were normal, but that was not the case here, because no matter how the human race members died, they would be counted in the death list, and these ordinary people humans also account for the vast majority of the human race. In fact, Duan Lei realized this as early as he entered the Endless Tower, so he established that huge research institute. The most important task of that research institute at present is to develop medicines that can make people live longer, and the defensive fortress has been constantly passing through. The transformation has become more and more suitable for ordinary people's survival. The current residential area is peaceful. In the past 30 years, ordinary people have become accustomed to life here. In fact, this was thanks to Wang Feng's iron-fisted policy at the time. Because all human beings know the rules of the Endless Tower, at the beginning, there were some ordinary people who wanted to cause trouble, because they all thought that their death would be counted as a number of casualties anyway, so Wang Feng and the others should not dare to do it. If you kill them, the most you can do is punish them. Wang Feng and the others directly formulated a set of laws after the defensive fortress was built, and among their laws, there were only two punishments. One was to make the wrongdoers work and wash away their sins with sweat. If they find it difficult to accept using sweat to cleanse their sins, that's okay, just use their blood to cleanse them. There is an old saying among the human race, that in troubled times, severe punishments are used. Now in the Endless Tower, in Wang Feng's view, it is a troubled time, so their punishments are just two kinds. If you are not honest and want to make trouble, you will go to labor reform. If you still don't obey, you will be dragged out and killed. No one will talk nonsense with them. After this system has been implemented for a few years, those ordinary people finally began to accept this fact and began to learn to abide by the laws promulgated by Wang Feng. As the saying goes, habit becomes nature. After adapting for a period of time, these ordinary people began to find that these laws are not very harsh. As long as they pay a little attention, they will not be punished. And now, the residential area is completely a civilized society where people don't pick up things on the road and don't lock their doors at night. Fights have disappeared in the past 10 years. Because as long as someone fights, no matter right or wrong, they will be reformed for 3 to 6 months before commenting on who is right and who is wrong. Because the cost of fighting is too high, the anger of those ordinary people has basically been smoothed out. However, although there are no more unnatural deaths, most of the residents in the residential area are now elderly, and many of those who were very old when they came in before have now died of old age. After Duan Lei and his team counted the number of people, including those who died of old age and those who died in accidents or on the battlefield, the number of deaths has approached 10% of the total number of human beings. This is because since entering the Endless Tower, Wang Feng and his team have banned human reproduction. No matter who it is, they must abide by this rule, even Wang Feng and Lu Wanting are no exception. Because they don't know how to count the number of people born in the Endless Tower, in order to prevent accidents, they simply ban it. Anyway, this is just a piece of cake for the current human race. Now Wang Feng and his team are trying every means to save the lives of ordinary people. Not only have Gu Changsheng and his team developed a large number of drugs to strengthen the physique of these people, but even Wang Feng has not hesitated to use life energy to turn many elderly people into enhancers. Once you become an enhancer, your lifespan will increase a lot. It is conservatively estimated that it should be at least 70 to 100 years, because after the transformation of life energy, the body cells of the human body are greatly enhanced, and the aging rate is directly extended by nearly 3 times. However, Wang Feng does not have so much life energy to turn all ordinary people into enhancers, otherwise they would not have to worry so much now. Although Gu Changsheng and his team have developed hundreds of medicines, none of them can really extend human life. Du Enlai and his team have calculated the number of elderly people. If they don't come up with some effective methods, then, in a maximum of 30 years, the number of ordinary people who die will exceed 60%. When that day comes, it will be the end of the human race. Gu Changsheng and his team are also very anxious now. Dr. Gu Changsheng even set up a special expert group to study this topic, and Wang Feng and his team also tried their best to provide them with convenience. Whether it was instructor Li Yingning, the people of the Kali tribe, or Xiao Wu and Qing Xuan, their genes had been extracted by Gu Changsheng and his team. Even when Wang Feng and his team were fighting outside, Gu Changsheng would give them a task, to capture 2 or 3 living people and use them as test subjects. But this proposal was rejected by Wang Feng on the spot. He did not accept the use of living people of other races for experiments. At most, he promised that they could extract some genes. In Wang Feng's eyes, simply extracting some genes and directly taking people of other races for experiments were 2 completely different concepts, and the latter was something Wang Feng absolutely could not accept. This was his bottom line. Even if it was related to the survival of the human race, Wang Feng and his team had to stick to their bottom line. In Atlantis, there was once a country's army that used prisoners of the enemy country for human experiments. After the results were exposed, they were condemned by countless people. Wang Feng did not want the human race he led to become like that. Although no one would condemn him now, he still would not touch that taboo. But even so, when he reached the 5,000th floor, Gu Changsheng still obtained the genes of thousands of races, but until now, he has not been able to give Wang Feng a satisfactory result. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 1110. Of course, both Wang Feng and Du Enlai knew that this was not Gu Changsheng's fault. Humans have been pursuing immortality since ancient times, but who has ever succeeded? Although Gu Changsheng is now an evolver, and has no worries about life for at least 100 years, he is also very clear that once those ordinary people die, he will be wiped out. So now it is not a question of trying hard or not, but a question of the current ability of the human race. However, it makes sense to think about it. It seems that the stronger the remaining ability of a creature, the shorter its lifespan. Although the Devourer clan may have broken this convention, after all, the Devourer is not a creature produced by the world itself, but a man-made one. Enemy found, rushing towards us, huge in number, please activate energy shield immediately. Just when Wang Feng was thinking about it, an urgent voice of a scout suddenly came from the communicator. Du Enlai quickly turned on the screen and connected to the small fighter driven by the scout who sent the signal. Suddenly, a familiar warship appeared in the picture, and next to it, there were dense small fighters. Cosmic Ghost. As soon as they saw this warship, everyone in the control hall almost shouted at the same time. They didn't need to check the information at all. This race was so familiar to the human race that it couldn't be more familiar. Looking at the familiar warship, Wang Feng's eyes shot out a strong murderous intent. According to the information mastered by the Phantom Clan, there are a total of 10,800 intelligent races on the entire primitive star. In addition to the human race itself, there are 10,799 more. Among these races, the only one that Wang Feng wants to exterminate is the Cosmic Ghost. The grudge between this race and the human race is too deep, and the two sides cannot resolve it at all. If it weren't for them, the human race might still be developing freely in the galaxy where the mother planet was originally located, and there would be no chance to come to the Endless Tower. Although this is an opportunity that may allow the human race to stand at the top of the world from now on, for Wang Feng, he would rather stay in a small planet, be an ordinary person, and live a peaceful life, rather than being like now. Although he looks powerful, his troubles are not what he could have imagined at the beginning. However, from the image, it seems that the cosmic ghosts have no intention of reconciling with them, and unlike other races, the cosmic ghost warships are now chasing the human reconnaissance plane, and the expeditionary soldier driving the small fighter plane has no intention of escaping in other directions, but returns directly to the direction of the defensive fortress. And the other reconnaissance planes are also rushing back now, because they no longer need to look for the enemy. It seems that the cosmic ghosts want to take the initiative to attack. Come to think of it, it makes sense. After all, when they were on the primitive star, Wang Feng and his men had destroyed the lair of the cosmic ghost. If the endless road had not just been opened, it might not take many years for the cosmic ghost, a race that can roam the outer universe, to slowly decline and eventually perish. Sound the alarm. Everyone prepare for battle. The 2nd and 3rd Corps and the Defense Corps, all enter the defense positions and wait for orders. Wang Feng gave an order, and the entire defense fortress immediately began to move, including the outermost defense corps. All combatants entered their designated positions, and the Hope Expeditionary Force ran into the parking bay and entered the small fighter planes. This is a tactic that the human race has prepared long ago, called the thorngrass tactics, which has been practiced countless times and is specifically aimed at enemies who attack from the door. From the name, we can tell that this tactic is mainly based on defense and counterattack. It can be said that it is specially designed for the current situation. Originally, this defensive fortress has been continuously transformed by the goblins and the Bree tribe. Not only is the internal space powerful, but the energy shield also has 3 layers. Especially the beam cannons at the outermost edge of the defensive fortress are now quite terrifying. Because in the information of the Phantom Spirit clan, Wang Feng and his team found many powerful races. In order to deal with these races, Wang Feng and his team specially set up several sets of plans, and all of them were rehearsed countless times with those combatants. Even in the previous layers, they deliberately led the enemy here and used them as a whetstone to practice their tactics. Now that Wang Feng's order has been received, the entire defensive fortress has been fully in place in less than a minute, ready to fight, quietly waiting for the arrival of the cosmic ghost. It's just that the expressions of these warriors are not quite the same now, because they are from 3 places after all: Atlantis, the original star and the mother star. Needless to say, the warriors from Atlantis were quite familiar with the space ghosts, especially the expeditionary soldiers on standby in the small fighter planes. They had lost too many comrades in the battle in the universe and had long hated the space ghosts. As for the warriors from the primordial star, although they had also fought against the space ghosts, they did not have much hatred, so they did not have any special feelings. They just treated them as the enemies of more than 4,000 layers before. Anyway, I would kill them if they came. As for the warriors from their home planet, they have basically never seen the cosmic ghost. At most, they have a little understanding of the cosmic ghost from the images brought by Wang Feng and the others, and they have no idea about the cosmic ghost. Instead of hatred, I feel a little scared because of the way the cosmic ghost eats. Fortunately, they have experienced countless battles, so they did not show it. Now they just hope that they can pass through here smoothly like the previous layers, because the race of cosmic ghost is indeed not considered a race for them. Very good enemy. Fighting with them, these warriors would rather die on the spot than become prisoners, because once you are captured by fighting the ghost of the universe, your identity will instantly change from enemy to food. Obviously, this transformation is not that simple. It's beautiful, and not everyone can accept it, especially the old image after becoming food, which lingers like a nightmare in the hearts of these warriors from their home planet. Seemingly seeing their expressions and knowing what they were thinking, a warrior from Atlantis looked at his comrades with a smile, and then asked, "Hey, man. You haven't fought these guys before, have you?" "No." The soldier he asked slowly shook his head. Have you fought them? Me neither. The soldier shook his head and said. I was not qualified before. The ones I fought against were those guys from the expeditionary force. At that time, they were still called the Hope Corps. I heard that the fight was quite brutal, so, I think these guys will definitely win this time. What a tragedy, with Tou's temper, he will never let them go easily. Maybe, the cosmic ghost will be the first one to be exterminated by us in this endless journey. What? So cruel. The soldier was startled. Of course. Although I didn't join the Legion of Hope due to, forget it, it's just various reasons, but after all, I am also a combatant, so at least I still know about these things. This warrior who followed Wang Feng and the others from Atlantis all the way here actually failed to enter the two major legions of Guardian and Hope because he failed to pass the training of instructor Li Yingning. He became a combatant later. But as he said, although he did not join the Elite Corps, at least he still knows a lot about the Elite Corps. Just wait. We will probably stay on this level for a long time. The Cosmic Ghost guys are the most powerful race in the outer universe. I don't know how many races have been wiped out by them. Just say your home planet also left its original galaxy because of them. So whether it's the Third Master or our leaders, they won't let these guys go. And the number of Space Ghost's warships is said to be quite large. If it's an air battle, we probably won't be our opponents, so we'll defend first and hum them. Say it again. How much is quite a lot? It turned out that the soldier asked blankly, because it seemed that all the space battleships in the human race could only be counted in two hands, so he naturally made a guess based on this. Anyway, there are more than us. The soldier didn't tell the number, not because he didn't know, but because he was afraid of scaring these guys by saying it. If we really talk about the battleships of the Space Ghost, I'm afraid there are tens of thousands of them. After all, a fleet is 5,000 in size. Of the space battleships on the left and right, even if Wang Feng and the others destroyed 2 or 3 fleets, there were still more than 8 space fleets left. Fortunately, according to the resource situation in the Endless Tower, it is unlikely that they will build space battleships here again, so 40,000 to 50,000 should be the number of Space Ghost battleships. This is a quite terrifying number, so Wang Feng directly ordered the use of Thorngrass tactics instead of using the Hurricane tactics of all-out attack. Soon, the Space Ghost battleship group appeared in front of the human race's defensive fortress, and the small fighter plane being chased by them plunged into the defensive fortress, chasing after the fighter plane. Those battleships and small fighter planes were preparing to fire when suddenly their eyes lit up and countless light spots appeared in their field of vision.